welcome everybody. We will begin with our opening prayer. Sitting up tall, take a deep breath in and out, and then inhale again fully. Gajananam bhuta ganadi sevitam kapita jambu palasara bhakshitam uma sutam shakavanyasha karanam namami vinyeshvara parapankajam sharananam kunkumaraktavarnam mahamatim divyamayura vahanam rudrasya sunyam surya sanyanatam guham saraham sharanyam prapadye Ya kundendu tushara hara devala, ya shubra vrasta vrata, ya vinavara danda mantitakara, ya shveta padmasana, ya brahma chuta shankara prabhitibir devai sada pujita, samampatu saraswati bhagavati nishesa yajyapaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Shri Sivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnu Devanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarvamangala Mangaye Shive Sarvadasadike Charanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om Bolo Satguru Sivananda Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Om Bolo Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm just going to read a little bit about you here for those who were not here last night.
And also we have to do it on Zoom, no?
Is Zoom on? It's
Do it
on?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So Swamini Svatmavidyananda Saraswati is here to give us teachings and lessons on the Panchadashi.
Yes.
Panchadashi. I practiced it. I said it fine before, and now all of a sudden I'm not saying it fine.
You said it fine just now too.
Thank you. Swamini Ji is a longtime disciple of Pujya Sri Swami Dayananda Saraswati Ji, one of the greatest masters of Vedanta in contemporary times. She is the Acharya of Arsha Vijnana Gurukulam, and an ashram based in Atlanta, Georgia, and also Eugene, Oregon. She has been active in the interfaith movement, leading and featuring in prominent international dialogues on religious diversity, harmony, peace, and mutual respect among various religious traditions. She splits her time between serving as a resident teacher in the Swami Dayananda Ashram and traveling internationally offering talks and retreats. Swamini Ji is the author of books such as Freedom from Distrust and Overcoming Self-Sabotage in Spiritual Growth, and contemplation card set entitled Musings on Oneness. So let us welcome her.
Thank you very much. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to the question hour. And this is a place where we can get to know each other a little more informally, and we can. This is also a place where whatever is taught in the morning and evening satsangs, a place to debrief from that, to ruminate, to ask any questions. But supposing you don't have questions, it's also a nice place to build community of like-minded people. That is also a nice thing. And even if we don't have questions, sometimes we learn from the questions of others, because we secretly have those questions. It's just not out yet. So this is a place for you to ask. And also, it doesn't have to be limited to questions regarding the text that we are studying or the classes. It could be about other existential, spiritual things that you would like to understand. Not that I'm an expert, but whatever I got from my guru, I can share a little bit. Over to all of you. Yes.
Swamiji, I have a question about right effort.
Right effort.
Regarding right effort, sometimes I feel like I try too hard at something and that gets in the way. And then at the same time, I'm afraid of being a slacker and just, oh, well, I'm sitting on the treasure, I guess I just don't have to do anything. And so I'm wondering, how do we know how to find the right effort, the right amount of effort that facilitates spiritual growth?
An excellent question. Wonderful. How much is too much and how little is too little? That is basically what you're asking. And interestingly, it happens to be the subject matter of the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which talks of right effort. And right way, it goes into very close details. Right amount of eating and right amount of moving around, right amount of talking, right amount of staying silent. And it also talks about the right amount of exercise, not over-exercising, where the rest of the day one is just gone, not available for transaction, and not under-exercising. And so this is something which we can address on the practical level, like how the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita does. And we can also address it on a more, spiritual level, Vedantic level as well. So on the practical level, it is looking at the feeling that comes within the heart when one has given one's very best. That is the right effort. And it is different for everybody and it's different for every situation. Despite our insecurities, despite one's feeling I'm not doing enough, or I'm a slacker, or whatever, the feeling is, I'm an imposter, I'm a slacker, I'm not doing the right thing, there is still a deep knowing that comes with having put the correct amount of effort, having given it your best, given it your all. That would be right effort. And that also grows along with us. In the beginning, right effort for the beginner is just doing as much as was told after one has been told many, many times, and then saying, that's it, I have overextended myself. And this is an adolescent, correct? Yeah. Make your bed, the mother says, and then somehow just the bare minimum to get by, because one is in a hurry to go do I don't know what, but then That is how one is. Hurry up and get things done. But as one grows, not just physically, spiritually, emotionally, there is a threshold, a different threshold of what is the right effort. One expands a little more to include not just oneself, but others as well. In the beginning, it's just a few others, my people, my family, my loved ones, but that itself is a big stretch. For the person who was only thinking of me, this is a little bit of a stretch. This is wonderful. And so then the right effort means including all these people who have my back, including all these people who are beloved to me in whatever I'm doing. And then as one grows further, the right effort includes everybody ultimately. The whole world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we have a saying. The entire universe is just one family, and so whatever I do should benefit everybody, or at least the majority of people. And here one also expands the concept of right effort to get to the place of not needing to be told what to do, when to do, how much to do. And not only that, one takes the initiative to do it even without being told. That is the right effort at that stage of growth. This is what we can say on the practical level. And then we have another level also to discuss, which is not the work that we do, but what is the attitude behind the work that we do. And here the Bhagavad Gita again comes to our assistance and tells us that everything that we do, we must do worshipfully. This is a tradition that says you don't have to go to temple, church, synagogue. You can if you want to, but you don't have to, as long as you have made your work itself a worship. Whatever you do, you learn to do worshipfully. It's easier said than done, because out of the things that we have to do, even during a course of one day, most of the things we do not like and a few things we love. Here is where the rub is. Things I don't like and then things I like. Things I like, I have no problem, doing them. Things I don't like, especially seva. Seva means any kind of service to people I don't like. So this is what it is. So there I don't feel like extending myself. The heart that was blossoming goes back into a bud, and the hands go in this closed posture. One stands or sits like Swami Vivekananda without being Swami Vivekananda. So here is where a little stretching is needed. Just like suddenly if you do yoga, what happens everywhere, then the muscles will get hurt. So you have to stretch before, you have to get the muscles ready. You have to say good morning to all the muscle groups. You have to wake them up. You have to give them a cup of chai, and then they will be ready for yoga. Similarly, the muscle of giving is like that. The muscle of reaching out, the muscle of giving, the muscle of taking whatever I have to do, the so-called duties, to the level of worship, that also you have to stretch a little bit. You have to go slowly, and you have to fully expand and allow you yourself to be just taken over. And so in this way, one grows from a person who has a lot of dislikes and a lot of likes, who is under the spell of those likes and dislikes, to a person who likes whatever there is to do. The word dislike, the word non-acceptance eventually goes away. This is what is the crux of Karma Yoga. Because nobody can do whatever you want all the time. Can we do whatever we want all the time? Never. You can't do what as you like. Because we are not living in a vacuum, we are living in a family, you're living in a society, you're living in a country. There are duties everywhere. You are a neighbor. You can't say, I just feel like playing heavy metal music at 2 a.m. and this is a free country. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because there are people around. And so therefore, there are certain things which I have to follow. I can't just do as I like. And if I can't do as I like, then I become a grumpy, cranky person. Sad, upset. And so the inner growth is liking whatever there is to do. I grow to like. And this is what my teacher said when he was asked by a 12-year-old. Swamiji, what is your favorite activity? Everything that I have got to do is my favorite, he said. So one grows, even if we say work is worship, in the beginning, the action becomes prayer, and towards the end, the action becomes prayerful, meaning the attitude with which the action is done is just communion with God, with the higher power. And so, like this we grow. And like this, the right effort also grows until it embraces all the galaxies, including our own. Next.
Kind of on the similar plane of, I'm always wondering about how much to trust and how much to tie up your camel. Like, and it's, I like to go out with an open heart and trust everyone and everything that's happening, and that's usually when I get in trouble. So how to have that balance of both and not be in the world with a fear-based kind of mindset where I'm always looking for the tying up my camel really super tight. So, yeah.
This is what moksha is, living in two planes at once. The absolute reality where one understands one is untouched by anything, and even if one gets into, as you put it, a lot of trouble, it's not me who is being troubled. And maybe understanding that. And at the same time, being practical. If one is an enlightened person, I shouldn't say if, when one is an enlightened person, then you don't have to tie the camel up. Why? Because you don't even have a camel to begin with. So there is no question of needing a rope to tie it at all. But as we are growing into embracing this knowledge and to dropping the self-ignorance, as we are growing into it, then we have to tie the camel and open the heart. Practical. Because then otherwise we will be like that poor snake. One snake was biting everybody in the village. And snakes don't have parenting, okay? Yeah, they are lucky if the mother doesn't eat them for a postpartum meal. So the snake doesn't have any home training, no mothering, no fathering, and then this particular snake grew up like that and was biting everybody. And this I love stories about ancient India because there's always a Swami coming into town. That's when it gets interesting. Swami comes into town, and then everybody complains about the snake. Please, Swami, do something about this snake. The babies are getting hurt. Some people have had to get injections. Some people are dying. What is this? Some people are paralyzed. This is a very bad snake. Just bites. He's lying around in the bushes and bites. Please do something. So the Swami said, I'll see what I can do. Swami goes and talks to the snake. And because he's a Swami, he can do things, she can do things. So Swami goes and talks to the snake and says, yo bro, what's with you? Yeah, why you're biting everybody? Just eat your grasshoppers and other things, whatever you're supposed to eat. There's plenty of things. People will thank you. Eat the cockroaches, eat the grasshoppers, they'll love you up. Eat the frogs, whatever it is you eat. Just don't bite fellows like this. Snake says, okay, thank you. I have never been talked to by a Swami before, and I will follow what you said. I will be more saintly. And then it stopped biting people. Time went on, and the word spread that this is a non-biting snake. It became the target of every urchin's pebbles. Everybody just beat it just for the sake of it because it's not going to bite back. It knows that. And then so it just became a battered snake. Sad snake full of cuts and blunt force trauma, repetitive injuries and all kinds of things. It could barely crawl from place to place. So what goes out of town has to come back in town. What comes back in town? Swami. Swami came back in town and everybody said, Swami, we don't know what you did to the snake, but not a single person has been bitten. Thank you, thank you. And then the Swami says, let me go check on the snake. Hello, snake, where are you? Feeble voice, I'm here. What happened to you? Full of cuts, bruises, and beatings I have taken. What a terrible advice you gave me, dear Swami. I have nothing, no prana left in me. I'm just waiting for death to come. I'm in a bad shape. Stupid snake, Swami says. I told you not to bite, yes, but I never told you not to hiss. Hissing means healthy boundaries. That is what it is. There is a certain level of protection one needs. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be over the top. And here too there is growth. Here too there is just like that other question, like what is the right effort? The definition of right effort grows. Here also the healthy boundaries, they also change. In the beginning, everything is locked up, tied up. Camel is tied up, and then the rope with which the camel is tied up is also locked up. And like this, we begin. We begin with a very heavy boundary between the self and the other. And it's needed for protection. It's needed because that's where one is at that stage of growth. It cannot be bypassed. There is nothing wrong or right about it. This is how everybody has to grow. And then later on, we get to the place of letting go a little more. Letting go a little more. With everything. with our resources, because that is where the rub is, with our camels, whatever the camels stand for. Whatever we have to protect, we hold it very close. And everybody knows what is the area of insecurity for that person. Everybody knows. It could be a person, it could be another person. Oh my God, I can't be without this person, I have to be with this person all the time. Then put yourself on a fast without being without that person for some time and see what that is like. It could be with resources. So when we share our resources, so there is one hand that is giving usually and the other hand is pulling back. No, 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 not so fast, not so much. No, 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 what will they do? They will take advantage of me, they will walk all over me, they will not respect me. Don't give up yourself so much, don't give up your resources so much. That is okay. That is in keeping with where one is in the growth. But if one wants to continue to grow, one challenges one's threshold, even of these boundaries. In a healthy way, one challenges it and sees how can I be without this? How will I be without this? And we find that we are fine without it. Whatever it is, one thinks, like, you can look around your house, so many things are there around the house, and you have told yourself, these are all things that I have chosen, I like, they remind me of this place, they remind me of this person, this is my favorite mug, and this is my favorite this, that, everything. And whatever is not being used, you can do this challenge for yourself. Put it in a box. Oh, and give it away? No, no, no. This is a much nicer exercise than that. Don't give it away. Put it in a box and put it under the bed or in an attic somewhere. Chances are 6 months later you have even forgotten what they look like. And if 1 year later you haven't used them, then you can think of giving them away. So like this, one slowly grows, and we can allow ourselves to grow without prejudice, self-blame, self-judgment. Because anywhere that we are at a particular time in life is exactly where we are supposed to be. That is where we are supposed to be. And then with self-compassion, it becomes very clear how to tie that camel and how much to tie it, how tight the knot should be, etc.
Thank you. Swamiji. I apologize if the question is shady because I'm still having challenges even formulating the question itself. But maybe it's in the direction of understanding the highest level of the Jivan Mukti in relation to Brahman, the witness, right? So it seems as if when the Jiva realizes, as we said, the perception of the world continues, bondage doesn't continue, right? On the Jiva Mukti?
It continues.
It continues?
Yes.
Okay. So, but it never reaches the level of Shakshi itself, right? Because it's different?
Sakshi.
Or the witness or
Yeah,
Brahman?
witness is Sakshi, yes.
So the Jiva Mukti never reaches that level of Sakshi.
No, see, we have to, these are two different concepts, related but different. Jivan Mukti is freedom while living. While living, I am free. This is what we want. Afterlife means what? We don't know. What is this afterlife? We don't know. Whether I will survive death, I don't know. Whether after the life I will have something there, I don't know. If I go to a place called heaven, whether I will like it or not, I don't know. All we have, what we know is right here, right now. This is what I have, this is what I know, this is where I am. In this life, I have to be free. You see, it's not like after life I want to be free. If you're hungry right now and somebody tells you, don't worry, in the afterlife there is lot of food, what will you feel like doing? You'll feel like sending them to the afterlife. Okay? Yeah. You'll be so frustrated because when is the hunger being felt? Now? And when is the yearning to be one with everything and the yearning to have this oneness and this freedom from guilt, hurt, pain, sorrow, limitations, when is that being felt? Now. Urgently. It's not in some kind of afterlife. So freedom here and now is called Jivan Mukti. And that comes out of studying texts like Panchadashi, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc. It comes from studying that, immersing in that completely and understanding that and living that. That itself, immersing in it is living it because it is non-separate from oneself. That is Jivan Mukti. How do we get there is by, one of the things is to, we can help ourselves in the sadhana of being an observer. There are two aspects to each person, the participant in everything. Right now we are participating in this room, we are talking to each other, we are hearing, etc. So there's the participation and there's also an observer. Like if I just fall back a little, not literally, don't do that. So if I fall back a little, what do I see? I see that I'm sitting here, I see that I'm talking to all of you. And with that same effort, you can also see that you are sitting here and you are listening to somebody who is talking. This is called Sakshi, Sakshita, the witnessing. And this witness is free, the nature of this witness is Satchidananda, free of the limitations of the body, the mind and the senses. So we keep this witness going as long as is needed, and then the concept of the witness too is dropped like a pole vault game. You know, in the game of pole vault? So what do? They run with this big tall stick. And when they jump over, they hold that stick, and then what do? Let go of that. That is just to get leverage. That stick is just for leverage. They stick that into the sand, and then they use it to jump over, and then after that, as they are jumping, they don't say, oh, let me retrieve the stick. No, the stick is allowed to fall, and they are on the other side. So Sakshita, the witnessing, is like the stick for the pole vault. You need to be a Sakshi as long as that effort is necessary. And then what does happen? It happens that the Sakshya, that which is observed, is non-separate from you, that the observer is non-separate from you. The observer is an as though superimposition upon that Brahman which is free of being observer. The observed, the objects, are also a superimposition upon that Brahman which is free of being the observed. So the subject-object difference goes away cognitively. Literally it continues. And all the trees that are here, the other people, they're not going to disappear. They're going to continue. This is called Jnanadhyasa. Jnanadhyasa means, see, certain mistakes, when you find out it's a mistake, the mistaken impression disappears. What is our stock example? Rope, snake. So in place of rope, I see the snake. Because it is twilight and I don't see very well. I know something is there. I don't see the rope. What do I see? Something with 3 bends. Immediately, I project the fear of snake which is sitting in my head onto that thing, on the entity on the ground, and convert, so to speak, the rope into what? Snake. Then when I see the rope for what it is, then what happens to the snake? Disappears. It's not sitting on the rope. It's not sitting next to the rope. It did not slither away in the bushes. It was never there to begin with, other than as my fear. My fear was projected and it was withdrawn in the light of the knowledge. So similarly, the subject-object is this is different from what happens after self-knowledge. The Jagat, the whole universe of names and forms, does not disappear. Why? Because you are still alive. If the Jagat disappears, then your body also is part of the 5 elements. It too should disappear. Already so few people interested in Vedanta. And then if supposing one immediately dies after the study of Tattvamasi, then people will not go, anybody they see in orange, they will go like this. Please don't teach me anything. Because what? Oh, you are it, you are the whole. Oh my God, I see it. Finished. Who will come? That's why Jivan Mukti allows everything to go on as though. Everything is as though. Tying the camel is as though. And then doing something is as though. Not doing something is as though. I see that because the subject is an extension of me, the object is a non-separate from me, and I transcend the subject-object and the differences between them, and I am free. That is what the understanding is. Hope that helped.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Do you have any advice with dealing with addiction, in particular to even what would seemingly be healthy, and maybe like an unhealthy addiction to spirituality? If I don't meditate, I feel bad. If I do yoga, I feel maybe pompous. I personally experienced a lot of attachment and self-value.
Detachment?
Attachment to...
Attachment to detachment.
Yeah. Well, actually, yes, because after I felt ruled and controlled by my spiritual practice, I tried detaching as much as I could, and now I'm just curious if you would have any advice. Finding addiction in anything, even not spirituality, but anything healthy.
I wouldn't call it an addiction. I would just call it more of a mindset that cannot rest, that has to have certain things a certain way. So it has now that mindset. It's more of an obsession rather than an addiction, I would say. Because the mindset is like, if this doesn't happen this way, it's not right. It has to happen a certain way. So you can try changing the routine. Instead of having the routine, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning and then meditate and then go for a walk and then do yoga, I'm just making this up, So if supposing that is your routine, try changing the routine. Try doing something else first and do this. Sit with the discomfort. Sit with the guilt, sit with the fear, sit with the discomfort that it generates, and then see where that goes. See where that goes, and then we can, then perhaps journal, write down what comes up. And that is what needs to be healed. What is behind that? It's not the thing in itself. It is the attitude towards that practice. It's not the practice that binds, it's the attitude that binds. And that attitude is probably hiding something else. And that is what we have to go to the depth of it and see what that is. By learning to make friends with and embrace the discomfort.
Anybody else?
Hari Om Swamiji, thank you so much for being with us. I have a question about clarifying the relationship between moha and maya.
Yeah.
So my question is, if maya is a constant of the material plane, but moha is what we choose to do.
Moha is not understanding maya. Yeah. Maya is Shakti. Maya is the creative force. Maya is the goddess. Maya is Bhagavati, Bhagavan on earth in the form of the raw materials. That is Maya, Shakti of Bhagavan. Not understanding this Shakti, coming under the spell of this Shakti, is called Moha, which is in the form of Atma Ajnana, not understanding the truth of myself, and Anyatha Jnana. What is Anyatha Jnana? Therefore coming to wrong conclusions about who the I is. This is Moha. And when the Moha continues life after life after life, it is called Maha Moha. Great big Moha. Moha, avidya means ignorance. Ignorance gone, moha gone. Because moha is a parasite feeding off of self-ignorance. So you can try to remove the moha, but what is the use of removing the parasite when the source is still there? That source has to be removed, and then the parasite will not come back and stick on it. And that source is self-ignorance. Yes.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Swaminiji. So, in the morning, Swaminiji was saying that vichara is needed to understand that this is not a ocean of samsara, it's a notion of samsara.
Yes.
So, Swaminiji, can you maybe talk a little bit about what is the preparation needed to do this type of vichara?
The preparation for this knowledge is many, okay? That's why we don't like to talk about it. Because again, we will lose our audience. Because everybody already feels underprepared. Everybody comes to Vedanta thinking, I don't think I'm going to get this. I'm not ready for this. I don't know how people get this. So even in the Bhagavad Gita, the qualifications are put in chapter 13. Yeah, not in chapter 1. In chapter 1, if Lord Krishna had started to talk about all the qualifications needed for this knowledge, then Arjuna would have run away and we would have not had the Bhagavad Gita at all. So he waits till chapter 13, till the message has been given, and then there is a little, appetizer on the tongue, and you want more, and then at that point you're ready to do anything because it's only 6 more chapters. So, yes, I need this, and so that is when it is given. Similarly, in the Kenopanishad, after listening to the whole teaching, a student raises the hand and says, Upanishadam bho bruhi, O revered sir, please teach me the Upanishad. And the teacher does not get mad. The teacher does not say, what were you doing? How many times have I told you not to sleep in the class? No such thing. No such thing. Because the teacher knows that the class is for sleeping. You know, that every teacher knows. Every Vedanta teacher knows. And the most delicious sleep comes in the Vedanta class only. No. Better than the bed. So the teacher then gives the qualification after the whole Upanishad has been given, because clearly it hasn't been understood. And so the qualifications, we just sort of look at them, and these are all things that we are gaining anyway. If we are working in life, especially if you're married, you have all the qualifications, really, yeah. Because what do you have to be when you're married? Patient, correct? Yeah. Patience is a qualification. You have to be giving. You can't just think of yourself. And you have to learn how to speak the truth correctly. And sometimes you have to learn how to not say anything at all. See, so marriage itself is a preparation for moksha. That's why we recommend everybody should get married. And then, at least once, and then, what else? Then children are another preparation, because suddenly you are leading a carefree, empty life, and then suddenly this little being came from nowhere, and it's demanding all the time, all the attention, and then more patience is needed. Where did this come from? And then every parent wonders, at some point in the child's early life, maybe it got exchanged at the hospital. It's not like us at all. The parents wonder. The child is also wondering, I think I'm adopted. These cannot be my real parents. So that itself, that also prepares for moksha. And then having a job, living in the society, living in a group without rubbing on others and without getting rubbed in return, these are all things we pick up as we lead our lives. As we lead our lives, we are picking them up. And so, traditionally, we talk of fourfold qualification. Oh, only 4 things. Yeah, only 4 things. Very nice. And what are the 4 things? Viveka, discrimination. Discrimination between what and what? Discrimination between what is temporary and what is permanent. What is temporary and what is permanent? Because what do I want? What do I want? I want the permanent. But yet I'm seemingly going after that which is temporary. So I'll need to discriminate and have the discernment between the temporary and the permanent. So I know that the permanent is not out there, it is centered on I. That is the viveka. Then what do I do with the addiction to the temporary? I have to learn to give that up, because that's not, the temporary is just for fun. Temporary fun. And so the temporary is not for ever. So therefore, if I have a projection, a transference of the permanent on the temporary, I have to learn to let that go slowly. All right. And so that is called vairagya, dispassion. Then a desire to be free must be there. No, I only have the desire to go to beach. I don't have the desire to be free. If you say that, then I will ask you, why do you go to the beach? Because there I feel free. See? That's what it is. Whatever we are doing is for the sake of freedom and happiness. Every temporary engagement is for the sake of the permanent. But the engagement with the temporary cannot produce the permanent, because the permanent is not a product. It has to be discovered as myself. So therefore, when viveka and vairagya come, then the path takes on a different turn. It's a U-turn, as in U-turn from the Jagat to moksha. This is called the desire for moksha, because I recognize that in and every strong desire, the desire for moksha alone is shining. The desire to be limitless and free is alone shining. I recognize this. That's the third qualification. And the fourth qualification is a set of 6. Oh, but you said it's only 4. Yeah, we lie. So, like I said, the qualifications, because people then get obsessed with the qualifications. So here, these 6-fold, this 6-pack is basically things like a tranquil mind, non-reactivity, letting go, reverence for the teaching, patience, learning to put up with discomfort instead of trying to fix it immediately for the sake of this growth, for the sake of this knowledge. And then single-minded focus. When I'm listening to the Shastra, I'm totally listening. These are the qualifications to cultivate in one's spare time, so that each time I come to the ashram and listen, or each time I listen online, it percolates deeply and transforms me. These are the qualifications. Now you see why we don't like to talk about them. You see, the whole energy in the room is like, oh my God, which one do I have? Do I have titiksha? Do I have shraddha? Do I have this? Everybody has. Everybody is gaining it in their own time. In the olden days, they gained it before they came to study the knowledge. Nowadays, that privilege is not there because everybody is busy looking at the screen, looking at something, updating something or the other. We don't have time to cultivate these things. So we cultivate them as we are pursuing the knowledge, which is also perfectly fine. The more we have a calm, tranquil mind, an accepting mind, a non-reactive mind, the more we are able to be with this knowledge freely, the more we are able to assimilate this.
Thank you. Om Swaminiji, it's good to have you back here. I have a follow-up question to what Deepa was asking and what you were saying in the morning to the 5 ways of cognition.
Yeah.
And the broader question is, how do we obtain this knowledge? What is the way one should listen? Because in school, we learn to use the intellect, and it is accumulation.
It is what?
Accumulation.
Accumulation. Accumulation of knowledge.
Accumulation
Yes,
of knowledge.
yes.
So it is that faculty called intellect that goes into a classroom and tries to memorize. Mm-hmm. Now here, listening to your talks, listening to the Shrutis, the Shastras, or the spiritual path, they say the spiritual path is not about accumulation, it's about letting go.
Yes.
So can you shed some light on what is that attitude? When people like we sit here, and what is that is beyond the intellect?
There's nothing beyond the intellect, even, because intellect is nothing other than Brahman. Everything is Brahman. So the same intellect is used to accumulate, and the same intellect is used to let go. The same intellect is used to gather the knowledge about the Jagat in various branches of knowledge, and the same intellect is used to understand the source of the Jagat as well, the source of the self. It's the same intellect. There's not a different intellect for self-knowledge. That would have been nice, it would have been convenient. But we just have one faculty of knowing, and it's the same intellect to understand the temporary as well as the permanent. There is a difference, what you just pointed out very well, in the sense that other branches of knowledge I try to master, this knowledge, I let it master me. That's what it is. I let go and let it happen, rather than trying to have that conquer mentality. With regard to knowledge, with regard to objects, with regard to people, we have this conquest mentality. Started with Julius Caesar. I came, I saw, and then I conquered. That's why his name is Caesar, because he was keeping on seizing all the territories. And so therefore, this attitude is okay for various branches of knowledge that are other than myself. With myself, I cannot seize anything, I cannot catch anything, because I'm not an object. And the knowledge of myself doesn't even belong to me, it is me alone. And so this knowledge has to be listened with a relaxed mind, suspending notions and judgment. That's why all the qualifications, to suspend the notions and judgment, and to be able to sit and relax and listen. And if there are questions, write it down, and then later on you can ask the question, because this is not a belief-based tradition. That's why we have to listen closely. In a belief-based tradition, it's easy. It's a faith, and then you just say, I believe, and then it's over. Here there is nothing to believe, you have to know. Like a small child being told 5 plus 4 is equal to 100 minus 91. And the 7-year-old, 8-year-old goes, what? What? This side single digits, plus sign, that side double, triple digits, minus sign. How can the two be the same? And the child cannot say to the math teacher, I believe you, madam. You must be right. I have a lot of reverence for this knowledge. The child, he or she, has to discover this for themselves. They have to work out each side of the equation. That's why there are brackets, right? So the bracket means that all these things are in brackets. This side, all those things, all the operations are in brackets. So you derive the answer on each side, and then you see they are one and the same. Similarly, in the jiva bracket is all notions and fears, pains, sorrows. I am finite, I am an idiot, I am limited, I am a big bore, and I don't like others, others don't like me. This is all in the brackets. And then all that which doesn't belong has to be taken away. That is Vedantic mathematics. You take that away because it doesn't belong. It is not intrinsic to me. Oh, I am an idiot is intrinsic to me because I feel that all the time. Do you feel that in your sleep? No. So then you're not an idiot because it keeps changing. Whatever keeps changing, you are not. So therefore that is gone. I am poor, I am rich, I am fat, I am thin, I am sick, I am well. All these dyads, all of them are gone because they don't belong. So what do we derive from doing the mathematics within the jiva bracket is that there is only that awareness which inhabits this body-mind sense complex. That's all it is. That awareness is there in sleep because I can tell you I slept very well when I wake up. So that awareness is there all the time. It's ever being experienced by me. And same thing we go here to the Ishvara side and do the math in the brackets. And who is this Ishvara? Who is this God? Almighty, omnipotent, omniscient, and all these things. And then all that is also an incidental attribute. It's not an inherent attribute to Brahman, which is pure awareness. So this pure awareness is got all these accoutrements which makes it called what? Ishvara. And then it's got some sad little accoutrements which makes it called Jiva, individual, alienated, sad being. And so when all these accoutrements which come and go are removed, what obtains is one unsplit, without a second, non-dual, limitless awareness that is you. This has to be understood. So for that, I have to keep aside the notions and just listen with self-love, because I want this badly, I deserve this knowledge, I'm ready for this knowledge, self-love, self-compassion, and love for the teaching, love for the Shastra, and the love to be free. That is how to listen. It's not about gathering, it's about letting things drop. Letting the notions that do not belong drop. We are not wedded to philosophies, we are not wedded to isms, we are wedded to the truth. That is what we are wedded to. So the discovery of the truth of myself makes me free of all entanglements, and that is what I want. This transcends everything. Because once we have this knowledge, you can do whatever you want. You do it freely. You can belong to any group. You do it freely because you know you're not affected. You can have a job or not have a job. You do it freely. So there is that inner freedom because of which the world does not any longer affect me. That is where we are trying to get, and this is through listening. All the notions, the old notions that hang on, are worn out. The waves of the Shastra crash against the rock, solidified, calcified notions, and they dissolve them. Okay, enough? Okay. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. On the 18th and 19th, we are going to have a young dancer come. And so she'll be doing Bharatnatyam dance at this time. So maybe for 25 minutes. So that will happen on the 18th and 19th. And then tomorrow also we can have Q&A. And then some people can sing. Anybody who knows how to sing bhajans, we can sing in the middle. Okay? Or at the beginning. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming too.
You guys want to stack your chairs? That would be great.